When someone hurts you, what do you want them to do? Yes, you want them to apologize, but don't you want them to think about how they hurt you? My idea behind that is if they think about how deeply they hurt you, not only will they not do it again, but hopefully they'll think more careful and think about being more sensitive to your feelings. Based on the original Hebrew, to repent means to change your mind about something, like an alcoholic who decides to give up drinking. Their mind convinces their emotions to want to change. When someone repents, they follow through on the action of turning away from sin and toward God, since sin is the absence of God. That means they weren't living according to the two greatest commandments. The first is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And the second is to love your neighbor as yourself. Today's reading is about the story of Jacob's favorite and youngest son, 17-year-old Joseph. Joseph's brothers grew more jealous of him every day, and it didn't help that Jacob sent Joseph to spy on his other sons and report back to him, and that Jacob gave Joseph a multicolored tunic, which became symbolic of Jacob's preference over his brothers. When given the chance to harm Joseph, his brothers left him for dead in an empty underground rainwater tank instead of killing him. Although they thought he died, he was rescued and sold into slavery to one of Pharaoh's men. Joseph was the only one who could interpret a dream that disturbed Pharaoh. Joseph said the symbols in the dream foretold about a future time of abundance that would be followed by a great famine, and of course that Pharaoh should plan ahead. That's when Pharaoh made Joseph governor of Egypt. Once the famine started, Joseph was in charge of distributing the rations. That's when his brothers come back into his life, and Joseph wants them to repent for what they've done to him. Listen to the end of today's reading to find out what happens next. When Joseph's brothers came and knelt down before him with their faces to the ground, he recognized them as soon as he saw them. But Joseph concealed his own identity from them and spoke sternly to them. With that, he locked them up in his guardhouse for 3 days. On the third day, Joseph said to his brothers, "Do this and you shall live, for I am a God-fearing man. If you have been honest, only one of your brothers need be confined in this prison, while the rest of you may go and take home provisions for your starving families. But you must come back to me with your youngest brother. Your words will thus be verified, and you will not die." To this they agreed. To one another they said, "Alas, we are being punished because of our brother. We saw the anguish of his heart when he pleaded with us, yet we paid no heed. That is why this anguish has now come upon us." Reuben broke in, "Did I not tell you not to do wrong to that boy? But you would not listen. Now comes the reckoning for his blood." The brothers did not know, of course, that Joseph understood what they said, since he spoke with them through an interpreter. But turning away from them, he wept. Although you won't find out until tomorrow how the story ends, you can probably guess that Joseph doesn't want revenge. He wants his brothers to think about what they did to him and to repent. In the Bible, the words "fear of the Lord" has always bothered me, because it doesn't seem right, like God's trying to intimidate us or force us into submission, when that's definitely not the case. He's not a bully. He's love itself. In Proverbs chapter 8, verse 13, I found the answer that says, "The fear of the Lord is to hate evil." What's evil? The absence of God, which is the absence of love, since God is love. When our actions aren't based on our love for God or neighbor, that's evil. Then the fear of God isn't a fear of being punished for not submitting to God's will, but it's a fear of falling out of love with God, of letting a relationship with God fade away and becoming alienated from Him. With that in mind, listen to a few verses from today's psalm. "But see, the eyes of the Lord are upon those who fear Him, upon those who hope for His kindness, to deliver them from death and preserve them in spite of famine. Lord, let mercy be on us as we place our trust in You." Today's gospel occurs when Jesus gives the 12 apostles authority to cure all diseases, illnesses, and to drive out unclean spirits. Listen carefully to what Jesus instructs them to do at the end. Now I'll read today's Gospel of Matthew. Jesus summoned His 12 disciples and gave them authority over unclean spirits to drive them out and cure every disease and every illness. The names of the 12 apostles are these: first Simon, called Peter, and his brother Andrew, James, the son of Zebedee, and his brother John, Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas and Matthew the tax collector, James the son of Alphaeus and Thaddeus, Simon the Cananean, and Judas Iscariot, who betrayed Jesus. Jesus sent out these 12 after instructing them, "Do not go into pagan territory or enter a Samaritan town. Go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Would you go, make this proclamation, the kingdom of heaven is at hand." Jesus wanted to start preaching to the Jews because they lost sight of the fear of the Lord. They focused on the letter of the law instead of practicing the two greatest commandments. The first, which is, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. And the second is to love your neighbor as yourself. When Jesus said to proclaim the kingdom of heaven is at hand, he's talking about God's reign on earth. If we all truly live the gospel, we'd be co-creating heaven on earth with God. Let's think about what we need to change our mind about that will bring us closer to God. We all have work to do on our relationship with God, whether it's having little or no time to pray or read the Bible, volunteer or help those we know, or talk or listen to God. We need to find time. We find time for the important things in our life. Let's remember how important our faith is and work on listening to God as often as we breathe. Maybe that could be a prayer. When you're standing in line somewhere or waiting for someone, start saying Jesus' name when you inhale and finish saying it when you exhale. Or you can take at least 5 minutes more a day to pray, read the Bible, or talk and listen to God. As far as the neighbor part's concerned, try smiling at everyone you see today. It's a beautiful gift of God's love we often forget. You just might change someone's outlook and give them the encouragement that they need. If you'd like to do more, think about the first person that comes to mind that needs some encouragement and just talk to them for a few minutes. Try doing that on a regular basis with them or someone else, either once a week or once a month, whatever's doable for you. By doing these seemingly small acts, you're actually co-creating heaven on earth with God. Isn't that cool? God bless you. And be sure to take care of God's precious gift, you.